So, hi.
Hey, how are you?
Happy Sunday to you and
Happy
everything
Sunday.
else. So, we record on Sundays, as a lot of people know, and I really am grateful that you're here with us
Thank you.
today because I know you're very busy and the city's popping because it's
Yeah.
actually warm out today. So,
Yeah.
thank you for being with us. If you could just kind of, for the audience, introduce yourself
Yeah.
and whatever title you go by, if you could share
Yeah,
that
I'm
with us.
Ren. I guess I'm the principal of Ren's Private Jewelers. I'm also the president of the Chicago Jewelers Association.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big one because you
Yeah.
are the youngest, right?
I am the youngest
Yes.
president.
And
I
how
am.
many years has that
The
association?
CJ has been around. This will be our 153rd year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time. And being the youngest. So that's great. Congratulations
Thank you.
on everything that you've done. But I want people to know a little bit more about you. So we talked about this, you're originally from Chicago,
That's right.
but you weren't here all the time. You
No.
kind of left us for a little bit.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? What'd you do?
So I went to school in Iowa. I played some sports in college, ran track and played football. And my degree is in music. And so when I graduated, I wanted to pursue that. And so I spent some time on the West Coast, LA for a little bit. Decided that LA was not, you're a Chicago city kid.
Yeah.
LA is not that. And so I came back to the city and started pursuing jewelry more seriously.
What part of Chicago did you grow up?
Uptown.
Uptown.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you came back to Chicago.
Thank you.
I'm curious though, because music and how did that go from music to jewelry? How
Yeah.
did that trip? tell?
Jewelry was always a side hustle.
Okay.
Despite popular belief, music does not pay very well.
Yeah.
And jewelry is a good side hustle. It's one of those businesses where you don't need a ton of schooling. You just kind of have to understand how the business works.
Okay.
And there's enough money in jewelry where you can make reasonable living while not doing a lot of work, And so once I decided I didn't want to do music, I was like, you know what? I don't actually think I know what else to do. I don't know if I know anything else. And so I decided to make jewelry like my full-time thing.
So do you make the jewelry? You design the jewelry? How does
I
that
mostly
all work?
design the jewelry. And
Okay.
so my background in jewelry when I started at the bottom. So originally side hustle, I'm just kind of hustling around trying to buy and sell stuff, kind of like a flipper, right? If you think of people that buy sneakers and sell them,
Yeah.
very similar.
How old were you at that point?
I was probably 18, something like that.
I
It
like
was,
that.
18, 19, somewhere around there.
You had that drive in you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But then when I left music, I wanted to figure out like the actual business. And so I worked at, the short story is I worked at what I would call some crappier jewelry stores, worked at some really fancy jewelry stores. And I spent about a year trying to find my path on Jewelers Row, partnered up with a big manufacturer, rose through the ranks, then left and started my business.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic though.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
And the music side, I would assume you had some creativity that you had tapped into already.
Yeah, definitely.
And so have you applied that?
Yeah, I think music and jewelry, there is a lot of similarities there, right? Like music is really about storytelling.
Mhm.
And the thing that makes me really excited about jewelry, especially when I get to design it for somebody, is I'm trying to tell their story. And I hate like bad or corny jewelry. And so I try not to be like literal. Like the example I give is if you say you love your partner, I'm not going to put like a heart on your ring, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
try to find a better way to tell that story. So yeah, it's just like music. You just have to, tell complex stories through this item.
But you're a personal jeweler. So,
Yeah.
so tell me how that works. Because I know you were saying like after this, you're going to go meet with somebody.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend time. So how does that whole piece work? Somebody comes to you with an idea, you get to know them, or how
Yeah,
does
it's a
that-
little bit of both, right? Like everything personal or private jewelry, whatever you want to call it, it's about the relationship. So when I'm first working with somebody, usually they come to me and they want experience that's not like a store experience. They want a really hands-on experience, which is exactly what I give, right? And then we establish kind of like a budget, maybe some rough ideas, and then I take that, apply my knowledge, and start producing designs or sourcing things for them. People that I have a deeper relationship with, they're starting to come to me now and say, hey, I have X amount of dollars. I want you to design me something that you think would work for me in this budget range. And that's really the most fun because I get like total creativity.
No, I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And has that last couple of years, it's been the last couple of years that now you've started developing that, or
Yeah, it's
from the beginning you've had some people that
In the beginning, I did have some people that trusted me like that, but over the last few years, my business has dramatically grown, and so now I'm starting to get it a lot more. And my reputation is starting to grow a little bit too, so I'm getting people with bigger budgets. And I just think that I've been here long enough and established myself where if you say, "Hey, I want you to make me a ring," you kind of respect that I'm gonna come up with something, decent.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of, work it
Your
from there.
reputation precedes you.
Thank you.
I mean, I think people know you and respect you, but I'm going to ask the questions.
Sure.
So why you? Why would people go to you? Why are they going to trust you? Like, what is it about you?
That's a good question. I think what it really comes down to is I have a very rare experience in the jewelry industry. Like not only from working in stores and working from the bottom to the top, but manufacturing, right? Like I ran a manufacturing house. And so we made jewelry for over 1,000 stores around the United States. And so
wait.
Yeah.
Where was the manufacturing?
Chicago. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we had other offices in other parts of the world,
Okay.
right? But we made jewelry for other stores. And so the way it would work is like you go to Joe's jewelry store, you want to make this ring, they would come to us and we would actually do the making of it. And so I understand.
See, that's huge to me because you do have to start, I think, bottom up, right? And
100%.
You have to learn, that's how you learn the details.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I understand design and manufacturing and construction on a completely different level than say your average jewelry store person, and then also you couple that with me like developing my own taste and style over the last 10 years or whatever. People want that. They want to be, a part of that.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I know. And I do think you cater now to the elite.
Yeah. Thank you.
And those that have good taste. But it sounds like you also open up the doors to people that are starting to get into jewelry.
Yeah, absolutely.
In it.
No, I love that. I mean, some of my favorite conversations are somebody who they're starting to have a little bit more disposable income. They want to invest in custom jewelry rather than buying something off of the shelf. And so it's fun to kind of talk to them and see like, it's almost like watching kids grow up, right? You're talking about people who want to tell their story. And so what you do is you figure out a way to start weaving it into their collection because I'm really the start of your collection now. And so that's really, really fun. Yeah.
I love that. A collection, right?
Yeah.
So people should start thinking of jewelry as that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of times we think one off, oh, I like this piece.
Yeah.
But creating a collection is almost a little bit of creating a legacy.
Yeah.
Because it's about you, right?
You're expressing yourself through your jewelry, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
Let's be frank, jewelry is expensive. So if you're going to spend that kind of money, you obviously want something that you're going to hold on to for a very long time. And so for me, I would rather think of it as a big collection, and so I love, people that I've done jewelry for that have maybe 10 pieces from me and I see them, how they wear it together or, how they like to send me photos of them wearing all their stuff. And so that's fun. I mean, that's a full collection.
So I was at Superfine.
Yeah.
You were there. They're good friends of yours and they had a great event for kind of in honor of the Met Gala and people dressed up and everything. And I got to interview you and I've got to tell you, what you were wearing, I mean, your clothes were great as well. And obviously I'm into fashion because of Runway Latinx and everything else I do. But your jewelry that night was just fantastic.
Thank you.
And I love it because we do a lot of suggested attire and we do a lot of suggested attire for men. And I think that good jewelry pieces, brooches, or, just different things, even pins that they wear, whatever, rings, necklaces, everything is so important. It changes the look 100%.
Absolutely.
And you were the epitome of, what a man should look like that night. You looked great and your designs were just fantastic. So I'm curious, are you, and I know you probably don't go a lot with trends.
Yeah. But
what are you seeing more now for men?
Well, you kind of have two types of men when I design. You have the guys that are a little bit understated. They want to wear the simple pieces, but tasteful pieces. So what I'm seeing there is a lot of like chunkier gold. So like a lot of the stuff I'm wearing today, right? No diamonds, but bold gold pieces.
Can we show
Yeah,
show
sure.
him a little bit? That's
A little
really
bit of bold
cool.
gold pieces.
Clean, beautiful.
Yeah, clean, simple lines.
Yeah.
Bold pieces. And then you have the guys that are a little bit flashier, right? Which like that night, because it was a big event, I was dressed a little bit flashier.
Yeah.
So you're definitely seeing
I
diamonds.
mean, that was the night, right?
Yeah, that was the night to
Fashion
do
is
it.
art. I mean, that was
You're seeing diamonds. You're seeing white gold. Especially on men, you're seeing big diamond rings. I've been doing, I can't tell you how many I've done in the last 6 months
Really?
of guys
Okay.
looking for big diamond rings, you know?
Okay.
And so that's part of the reason why I designed that ring that you saw me wearing that night. That was a 5-carat diamond ring.
Yeah, that was
And so,
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I'm seeing is gentlemen kind of go both ways. And the really interesting thing that I'm finding is that I have a lot of clients that are entrepreneurs or they work in the corporate world and they're really high up. And so when they're in that workspace, they can't really wear the big flashy stuff. And so I think that's where you're seeing the really tasteful
Mhm.
but personal pieces,
Mhm.
kind of adding to their outfits.
Yeah. No, and I love that, man, because I've been preaching this for years that they're starting to wear the brooches now.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
add on, right?
Yeah.
It's a simple thing, but it just changes.
It completely
look.
changes the whole look.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember, but at the event, I was wearing like 2 small pins and there were 2 very small diamonds. And despite all the big diamond stuff that I was wearing, all night people were asking me about that.
Trust me, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember because I looked and I said, yes, this makes me so happy, because it's fashion, right? And so, and it sends out a subtle but very strong message. I
Yeah.
think about who the individual
And
is.
I think my personal style, I'm not the flashiest guy. I'm pretty low key, I would say. I like clean lines. But what I wanted to show that night is like, obviously we're doing this big giveaway and like, I'm a jeweler. Of course I have to wear diamonds. And I just wanted to show that you can wear a lot of diamonds, which I had like almost 50 something carats of diamonds on. You can wear a lot of diamonds, but in a very tasteful manner. Like it didn't feel extremely gaudy, but it captured enough attention.
No, it was elegant. It
Yeah.
was elegant. So the 2 type of men then we've got.
Yeah, you kind of have your simpler guys and then you have your guys that want a little flash. And to be honest with you, a lot of guys bounce between both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because they can when they go out, right?
Yeah.
Or when they're a little more comfortable.
One of my favorites, actually, this just happened to me. I'm making an engagement ring for a young man. And again, he works in finance. He started to make a lot more money. And he was telling me, he's like, in the office, I wear really simple stuff. So he has like some simple gold bracelets and whatnot. But then out of the office, he's like, I want you to make me some earrings. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I want them to be 2.5 carats each ear.
Oh,
and so you're
wow.
talking about a guy
Wow.
that wears almost nothing
Yeah.
to these gigantic diamond earrings. That's like his personal life. So like
Yeah.
he's the epitome of, one way versus the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a great thing. So you make engagement rings.
I do.
I'm curious what you're seeing there. Are you seeing some trends there?
Oh man, I make probably about 250 to 300-ish engagement rings a year. And it's like my absolute favorite thing to do. From a trend perspective, it really depends, right? If you're talking about lab grown engagement
By the
rings.
way, that's a lot of rings.
That is, thank
That's
you.
a lot.
Thank you. It's
That is
really,
a
really
lot,
fun.
yeah.
I mean, it keeps me busy, definitely
Yeah.
pays the bills for sure.
Yeah.
From the lab grown side, you're definitely seeing bigger diamonds, right? So you're seeing these like 3-4+ carat diamonds. From the natural diamond side, you're seeing maybe like the 2 to 3 carat diamonds, but they're really, really nice. So people are spending big numbers on some of those stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies, I have a lot of girlfriends.
Yeah.
I've had my engagement ring 1 or 2. I'll just say that much. But a lot of women falsely, I think, want this big ring all the time.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little explanation on that? Because it's not always about the size.
No.
Obviously, with the diamond.
It really
right?
comes down to the quality of the diamond.
Yeah.
And for my personal opinion is if your budget restricts you in some way, like we can't have it all, right? Yeah. I would say go for the higher quality diamond. Yes. Because again, you have to look at it every day and like a pretty diamond is always going to be pretty, even if it's not the biggest diamond.
Right.
But I mean, again, this is a new thing we're seeing where people are getting really big diamonds. For the longest time, the trend was always like a 1 to 1.5 carat was like your first diamond. And then if you upgrade, it's like 2 to 2.5. Yeah. So seeing people do these like 3, 4, 5, 6+ carat diamonds, this is very much like a last like 5 years.
Yeah, and a lot of those aren't natural though, right?
I would say probably the majority of them are lab, but I think that is a great conversation on, my generation, slightly younger generation. We don't look at diamonds the same way as like our parents or our grandparents. We look at them more as accessories, kind of that expression. And so
even the engagement ring.
Even the engagement ring. I mean, I have clients where they would rather do a high level of design into their engagement ring around this big diamond that's going to look pretty forever. But I do a lot of redesigns too. I have clients that I make their engagement ring, and then instead of actually upgrading the diamond, they just want to change the design around that diamond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that more?
I definitely more. I wouldn't say it's super common, but it's definitely something that, I mean, I've done it at least double-digit times in the last year. So it's definitely happening.
Is there a certain cut that you're seeing more of?
Right now, marquee, which is kind of this, pointed cut.
Is it because it's Selena Gomez? And
I think so. I mean, 100% celebrities heavily influence, heavily influence what's popular in the market. So like right now, marquee has been really, really popular. The oval diamond, I think, is our version of our parents' round diamond. So like our parents, they always got the classic round. That was like their epitome of class. Yeah. I think if you're under the age of like 40, 35, the oval is like that version for you. Yeah.
Okay. Marquee and oval. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. And then a lot around it, right? There's
you see rounds. To be honest with you, rounds are consistent. I can't, in my whole career, it's not like they've gotten like super popular or died. They just always are there. You know, a big one though is the rectangular shapes. So you have your emerald cuts and your radiants.
That's what I love.
I love a radiant. Radiant's my favorite cut personally, but you're seeing a lot of those. I'm seeing a lot of those over the last few years.
I love those. I don't know. I think
women love them because they kind of elongate your fingers.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, I mean, most women are pretty small, right? Yes. And so it just kind of makes your fingers look a little bit longer, a little bit thinner.
Yeah. No, I like it. Mm-hmm. So give us the 3 C's, right?
It's 4 C's.
Oh, it's 4 C's.
Yeah. Do you know them?
I used to know them.
Okay. So you have cut,
carrot,
yeah, clarity.
And what's the 4th? Wait. Forgetting. What is it?
You sure? You want to try it? It's color.
Color. Yeah. Oh my God. That's the basic one. Yeah. Sorry.
Those are, no, you're okay. And the thing is, I think a lot of people don't value, like you have to educate the client, like especially when I do engagement rings, because everybody thinks of carat, like the size, and clarity. Like everybody thinks of clarity, but color and cut dramatically change a diamond. Like when you have a colorless diamond that's cut really, really well, you can be sitting in almost no light and it's going to just absolutely sparkle. Yeah.
It's going to shine.
Yeah.
I actually like sapphires a lot, but
me too.
Another story. Do you? Yeah.
I love colored gems. I mean, I do a lot of diamond jewelry, but like colored gems is some of my favorite. And I have a good friend. She is a gemologist in New York, and her and we talk about gems all the time. I mean, that's pretty much her job. She deals gems. And so, we always talk about what's going on, but gems are like a completely different world. It's like a black box. Yeah. It is. And a lot of gems, despite popular belief, a lot of gems are a lot more expensive than diamonds.
They are. A lot of people don't realize that, and they are. So you kind of have to know them. And you have to have somebody you trust. Yeah,
you have to have somebody you trust and somebody who has access. Like there's a lot of jewelers that don't even have the access to get, certain quality of gems because gems are very difficult. And so you have to have a really strong network. Like if you're looking for, paparazzi sapphires, it's not that common, so you have to know somebody that can get good quality stones for what you're looking for.
See, 100%. You have to know. Yeah. And you have to trust. I mean, I think that's the thing to go with you. People trust you. Yeah. They trust your taste, but they also trust your sources that you're going to bring something.
And they have to trust that you do good business too. I think jewelry is such an opaque industry, and sometimes people give us a bad rep. And I think the way that I work is I'm really transparent. Like I give people full write-ups, a lot of information, so you can always verify what I give you. And I think that builds a huge amount of trust with my clientele, to the point now where, again, they'll say, hey, I have X dollars, go crazy, but that's all trust.
Who is that? I want to know who they are. No, just kidding.
There's some that you probably know for sure.
I love that. It's interesting. So I'm going to tell you, I actually don't talk about this a lot, but this ring,
cool.
There's a reason that this was designed. So maybe 10 years ago, a friend of mine had an astrologist do my natal chart and et cetera, et cetera. And it was interesting because this individual said, you need to ground yourself, which I think I need to do that all the time, but all of us do. And so ground your power, right? And so they had me design this, and they didn't pay for it. They specifically told me what they wanted. in there.
Okay.
And so it's a double because it grounds your energy so that, and this is actually a yellow sapphire.
Cool.
So
That's
the yellow
pretty.
sapphire it reflects, but it also maintains like the color and
Yeah,
the energy of
absolutely.
the sun.
Yeah.
So I'm a Leo ascendant, so that kind of sun. And then this again also helps me contain power or give it out whenever. So I call it my Wonder Woman ring.
Hey, power ring.
Yeah. But it's interesting because it's probably psychological,
Sure.
but I had to find a jeweler that I could trust. So now I know.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like
Yes.
that's a powerful story, and that's your
Yes.
story. And so
Yes.
you need to
Yes.
find somebody that can translate that into something tasteful. That again, like you said, you probably wear it all the time.
I wear it all the time.
There you go.
It grounds me. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of reminds me of what my mission purpose is here,
Yeah.
because that was interesting. All that came out in the natal chart. And it was so on point. That was so on point and still is that I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I really have to go get that made. And they weren't making any money off of it.
Sure.
But it was critical in kind of my story.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I pretty much wear
As
it
a
all the
jeweler,
time.
those are the best. But I mean, that's a big responsibility, right? Like
Yes.
you're trying to tell something that's very personal to you. So if I'm your jeweler, I take that super seriously. And so I want to ask a lot of questions around it. I want to make sure it's right and that you're really happy. Because again, the plan is that you're going to wear that forever. That jeweler may never see that piece of jewelry again.
Right.
But you look at it every single
Yeah.
day.
Probably won't, but yeah, and it's platinum, gold. It was it was very specific.
Yeah.
And
It must be heavy.
it's not that heavy here,
It's pretty heavy. It's not like
but it's
incredibly
a very strong,
heavy, but it's definitely
a strong.
Oh yeah, it's a very strong ring. This is very pretty. Nice.
Yeah, it's my power ring. It's my Wonder Woman ring.
Love it.
I really feel like it is.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. It sounds like you work a lot. How do you have fun? How do you get to relax?
This season right now, I'm not doing too much relaxing, but I have hobbies. Like one of my favorite hobbies is I like to free dive. And so,
Oh, you do? Okay.
yeah, I told you I spend a good amount of time between here and Miami.
Yeah.
And so when you're in Miami, you're
Oh, yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right next to the Caribbean. And
Yes.
so I go down there, I go diving, snorkeling, spearfishing, things like that. When I'm here, I read a lot. I don't really have a lot of time to like watch a lot of TV and movies and things,
Mhm.
but I can always jump in and out of books. And so I get a ton of enjoyment for that. And then probably my favorite hobby, honestly, is outside of like working out, is I take walks. And like Chicago is such a beautiful city.
You can walk all
So
over.
walkable.
Yeah.
And so like I take long walks literally all the time. Or like if I have a morning where I have a ton of calls, I'm probably taking a walk while I'm
And you
taking those
live
calls.
Gold Coast?
No, I live in the Loop. So
Okay.
I live technically in the Loop. I live next to London House.
Oh,
so I'm like right,
perfect.
yeah, I'm right on
Yeah.
like maybe the busiest corner in
Perfect.
the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love London House.
Yeah.
London House usually helps us host something called our tea, our high tea for
Mhm.
our non-for-profit, which is Pivoting in Heels. And we love them.
Yeah.
You've got the
They're
view,
great. I mean,
incredible
beautiful.
view of the
Yeah,
city,
exactly.
great service and everything else. That area is beautiful. And I've had people stay when they come in for Runway Latinx, which
Yeah.
you've been to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was so happy to hear that. They usually stay kind of around that area.
You know, I do that as well. I did that strategically when I moved over there because my office is very close across the street, but there's so many hotels like within a block or two. And so
Yeah.
now that I have clients that are starting to travel in to come see me, I needed to think about what that hotel situation would look like. And I've
There's so
built,
much going on in that area.
yeah, I've built really good relationships with some of the hotels around the area. So like they know to take care of my clients a certain way. So it's been really good.
Oh, good. We need
Yeah.
to talk. I have a lot of people that come in. And we're going to get you involved this year in Runway.
That'd be
right?
cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I know you've been to it, and we've got to get you involved in
Yeah,
some way.
I like it. As I'm growing my business, I've always loved fashion, right? So as I'm growing my business, I think there's so many parallels between fashion and jewelry. And so I found that that's been really good for me, just really aligning with interesting, fashion groups, especially Chicago based. Like I'm very much Chicago everything.
Yeah. We have some Chicago based.
Mhm.
I must tell you, we also have international designers
Sure.
that come in. And then I have influencers, local and a lot of international that
Cool.
are coming in. I'm actually talking to their managers now. They're calling us
Yeah,
and they want to be a part of what we're doing,
awesome.
which I love because I think it helps me put Chicago on the map as
Absolutely.
it should be. And
Absolutely.
we live stream everything we do worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great for Chicago because I want to show off Chicago.
I'm big on that too. Even from the jewelry space, like we have a lot of really great jewelers here, some legacy jewelers that are really great too. And I think I take a huge amount of pride in being from Chicago and representing Chicago.
Well, especially you're the president of the association here, right? So that's something that you do. I want to ask you, so when you're working with fashion, because I think it's definitely integral part of fashion, jewelry, do you work as a stylist sometimes? Like, do you come in and style?
No.
Do you work with stylists? Do you work with designers?
Not as much. I've been approached by a number of designers over the last couple of years about figuring out some sort of partnership. And I haven't actually done it yet, but I would. And I definitely have spoken to a few stylists. The issue really comes in from like the value of the goods, right? And so like, for example, if you're styling a jacket for a celebrity, let's say that jacket's whatever, $5,000. Cool. That's a very expensive jacket. For jewelry, I can get much higher than that very quickly. And so there's a little bit of the like kind of insurance aspect that I'm not 100% comfortable with, but I would do it. I absolutely would do it. And I have some clients that do big events that, you know, we work on some stuff.
So I've got to tell you, when Ren came in, we were taking photos of beautiful jewelry, which you'll see. And you were like, oh, can I just leave it here? And I was having a heart attack because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, one piece of jewelry. It can
be big numbers. Yes. And again, I mean, I trust you guys, and obviously I was just going to run around the corner to the restroom. But I mean, you being in the industry long enough, you're generally paranoid. You pay really close attention to just your surroundings and everything. Right. And you guys have a really beautiful setup here, and it feels extremely safe.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad we made you feel that way. So give us a couple of pointers. Maybe give me 3 things that you think have made you a success in your business as a jeweler or in businesses.
Number 1 is discipline. Like, you have to be disciplined. And I know it's really easy for people that run their own business to, I want to sleep in today. Maybe I can do it tomorrow, but you have to be disciplined. Yeah. I think a big one is look at the data, like get into the numbers and be kind of unapologetic with yourself. So like when I look at my business, I look at all the numbers. I have like a mentor. We go through everything, and you just have to be really open and honest about here's what's going on in the business. I think a lot of business people would be surprised at what's not actually benefiting their business that they are spending money on or doing things in their business. I guess the last one would be start with the client first, always. So like whatever the ideal client experience is, that everything has to be routed through that, because those are the people that are ultimately paying your bills. They're giving you money. They're giving you that trust. And so I always want my clients to feel really, really taken care of, and like they're the most important person in the world. And, you know, I know that we've talked a lot that sometimes I work with celebrities and whatnot, but I don't care if you're I have some like 21-year-old clients that are trying to get married. Like, I want them to feel just as important as insert A-list celebrity.
Everybody's important. Right?
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah. Because to me, it's a really big deal. You know, all of my jewelry, I want it to outlive me. Yeah. You know, and so that 21-year-old couple, who knows where they're going to be in 50 years? Mm-hmm. You know, that A-list celebrity, who knows where they're going to be? And so every single piece is super meaningful.
Yeah.
I did a fashion week last year.
In Paris?
Yeah.
Ooh.
In October.
Okay.
Really cool.
Tell us about that.
I have a friend who was throwing a show. He made the calendar last year, and he asked me if I would come. And I had the opportunity of like wearing like one of the new looks that was in the show. And so, I flew to Paris with one of my best friends, and we went to a bunch of shows, and his was like one of the last ones we did.
So you modeled?
I didn't model, but the way he did the show was more like a gallery. And so It was set up in this really cool, essentially a furniture store. But instead of having models just walk like a normal runway, he had them kind of set up in little like displays.
Vignettes.
Vignettes around this store. So I was actually wearing one of the looks, like the full look. But then I was just like observing the show with a bunch of other people. So it was really cool.
I love Paris.
Me too.
It's one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah, Paris is fun.
It really is. Yeah. I think people don't realize, and you could walk there any middle of the night and you feel real comfortable, and just the view of the city and the architecture and the art. It's so fabulous.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, you know what? It's time for me to go soon. I have to go.
Go back.
Yeah, go back and go shopping.
Oh,
it's like,
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So tell me, and I know you said discipline is very important for your business, but share with us. We have a lot of young people
Yeah.
as well, a lot of students that are graduating college or getting their master's degree that watch this, and they want to learn from leaders such as yourself.
Sure.
Tell us on personal habits or practices that you have, if you could share a few of them with
Yeah.
us.
I mean, one is, I'm a busy business person. I try to take care of my body, right? And so I try to eat pretty specifically. I try to work out pretty regularly, and that always keeps me mentally fairly clear. Another one, I mean, even though it's been tough the last couple of days, but try to have a pretty good sleep schedule. I try to have a decent sleep schedule.
So important.
I definitely have a morning routine, get up at a certain time.
How many hours do you sleep?
Man, mostly like 6 or 7, honestly. Like
Okay.
I probably don't get like a really long.
Yeah, I'm
Sleep.
a 7 hours. I know
Yeah.
7 work for me.
Yeah,
7
I'm about
hours,
6 or 7. Probably my minimum to even be like alive is probably like 4.
Oh.
Like I've done that, but those are tough days. But every once in a while you have the long night or something like that. So try not to make it a habit. But I have like a really specific morning routine. I hate being in a rush in the morning. So
Me too.
I like getting up early and starting my day slow, and then just kind of getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you eat right,
Try to eat right.
you
Yeah.
exercise, and sleeping are really important
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you take naps?
When I have the time, like I said, right now it's kind of the busy season, but when I have the time, I love a Sunday nap, like windows open, nice breeze or something. I love napping on my couch. But when I'm in my like really busy season, I almost never have time for a nap.
So you seem very calm and cool.
Thank you.
No, you do. But when something does rattle you, we're business people, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown at us. How do you recenter yourself?
A big one is you have to address it. I think when things get uncomfortable, as humans, we tend to try and like shy away from the problem, right? So you have to kind of address it head on. And I think you have to remember to, you have to solve the issue, but you don't have to solve it all today. And so like coming up with a clear plan and like steps moving forward keeps you very, very calm. I think it's easy to panic, and panic is what's going to ruin you. And so, I try not to panic in any scenario. And to be honest with you, like I make jewelry, and I always tell people it's just jewelry. Like there's no such thing as like a jewelry emergency. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm a doctor and like I'm saving somebody's life.
Yeah.
And so that always keeps me a little bit grounded in that it's just things. Yeah.
You know what? This kind of saved my life. It put me redirect. So you'd be surprised.
I know people take it very seriously,
Yes,
but for me, that's what keeps me very calm, because I understand its meaning to the person.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, it's a thing. Nobody's life is in the balance with me doing this. So it's like,
you got to be real about life.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
There's so many more important things than the little crisis that you have in front of you. And so I think when you think about others, so what does Ren want to be doing in the next 3 years, 3 years from now? Where do you want to be?
Oh man. I'd like to see my business grow more. And so like what that kind of looks like for me is bring on a few more people. I want to keep doing really meaningful jewelry. I like traveling, so I love traveling to my clients. I'd love to see that side of the business grow a little bit more. From the Jewelers Association side, I'm really passionate about giving back. And so, we have a scholarship program. I'd like to keep that going. I love talking to kids and people that want to be entrepreneurs. So I'd like to be doing that a lot more. And then, you know what? I'd probably like to have a better schedule for me. Like maybe I'm not dating, like maybe find a wife or something, like have pretty regular me time.
You've got that plan there, but you haven't had the time yet. And so
not too much time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a little bit, but it's just not my focus right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ren, I told you a couple of my girlfriends knew you were coming on, and, they met you at, I know you're like, who did I meet at the event?
I can't remember.
At the Super Fine event. And so 3 top things in the lady that you would like in your life.
Be funny. I think that I'm very serious in business, but I'm really goofy in my personal life. So be funny. Love to communicate. I like to talk things out. Not like a big yell and scream person.
Okay.
And be
Listening.
be curious, right? Like have a sense of curiosity. I love, like when you tell me about something I've never heard of it, I'm the guy that's gonna like go home and like go down the rabbit hole on it. And so I like going on adventures like that.
Okay, those are great. So I don't know if we should take these off
Sure,
the
let's do it.
audience, but we're back in again. So it was so great. You know, you were showing your jewelry and everything. And the one piece that you were showing us, which why don't we show it? So I love this because when we showed this, you know, you start sharing with us how you felt you had started making it or gotten to the point where you could treat yourself.
Yeah.
Where were you at? Like how many years were you in the jewelry business that you?
Yeah, like I was saying, it took me like 2 years to kind of figure out what I was doing, and then about 5 years to kind of feel like I was somebody.
Yeah.
And that was the point where I was like, okay, I need to start reinvesting back into myself. And now I'm at a point where I've removed my ego entirely from the equation, and I just want to truly be a master of designing jewelry. And so that's where
open to learning.
100%.
Right?
I mean, I feel like a kid again,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm taking these designs or these classic motifs. I'm trying to figure out how can I make this that much better and tell it through my language. And so this is a really fun place because I'm super curious. And so this is where I'm even asking other jewelers, hey, how'd you do that thing over there? And they're respecting it as like, oh, he was genuinely curious. He's not trying to like take my design or something, you know? And so that's
for a
that's
business
really fun
owner,
place.
I think that's such a great, well, as a person even,
Yeah.
that's such a great place to be curious about life,
Yeah.
curious about that. Because a lot of times I do think, I mean, all of us go through that cycle where you think, oh, I've made it, I know it all, but you don't. That's when you think you know it all is, no, you've got a lot
You
of
actually
learning
don't
to
know
do,
anything.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And so,
I think you're
congratulations.
making a great point. Thank you so much. I mean, ego is a big deal, right? And especially if you work in, you know, a sexy industry, right? Like jewelry, I get sounds cool, looks cool. And so you never want to think your stuff doesn't stink, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be constantly learning, constantly evolving. And I think that's the only way to get to the top.
The one thing you mentioned that I really like is that you mentioned you have a mentor.
Yeah.
Right? How did you choose, or how do you choose your mentor?
You know what? I have several mentors, but my absolute closest, the gentleman I was hanging out with yesterday, we just kind of became friends. Like it wasn't, I knew that I needed somebody in my life that was a mentor, but I was just hanging out. And I realized I'm like, this guy is kind of everything I want to be, right? Successful person. They think about things in a very unique way. We just connected on a lot of things. And then over the years, I realized that this person genuinely wanted to pour back into me too. Like always wants to see me win, willing to work with me when I'm at like my most vulnerable, also brings me back down to earth when I'm riding super high. You know what I mean? Like you need somebody that'll tell you it all, you know? And yeah, I mean, this person has become, you know, arguably the most important person in my life up to this point in my life. So I love them dearly.
It sounds like you have different mentors for different things.
Yeah, I have a couple. I really only have probably like 3 mentors. Like I said, the guy I was just talking about is definitely my main guy. But there's a few other people in my life too that have given me a lot of knowledge. So like I have a gentleman in jewelry. Like he's actually the first person to hire me in the jewelry industry. Oh. And he's just been a really great friend. And over the years, I ask him a lot of questions about jewelry, like stuff that I didn't think about. And he's been in the industry for, you know, a million years. And so he gives me insight on stuff that was going on in like the 90s, you know, or before.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I have to tell you that I think a lot of times people don't ask the question, or you have a lot of young people that think they know everything. Yeah. And they more want to give opinion than get. Yeah. And so you lose out on a lot of learning.
There's a lot of times where I'm hanging out with individuals where I'm just listening. You know, like as much as I think I know and love to talk about the things that I'm passionate about, there's certain rooms I've found where you gain so much more by just paying attention to what people are talking about. Yeah. And then you ask, you know, the smart questions when you can.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to ask one last thing.
Yeah.
Do you tell them that they're your mentors, that you think of them as mentors?
Eventually, yes. I don't know if I started off by saying, hey, I want you to be my mentor, but I think it just came from a place of like, I'm constantly seeking knowledge and guidance from you. We just kind of figured out this rapport. And then after a while, like I refer to it, but no, I refer to them as like my brothers or like my friends. Like we family. Literally family. Like we are that close at this point. And so I think they know it's mentorship, but to them, it's just as much family as well.
Love that.
Yeah.
Right. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
for being with us.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.